How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Z Garage, and we have a new product being released today. And if you don't know what this is, just by looking at it, this is your rear diff bushing. So this is an OEM bushing, not mine, thankfully. This one's in pretty rough shape. But this is no longer available from Nissan, and there's only one company that I know that's making aftermarket bushings. And they're a little expensive in my opinion, and I'm not a huge fan of the design. I would much prefer something that is replaceable, easily replaceable, I should say. So I made this for you guys. It is just an off-the-shelf energy suspension bushing. I'll go ahead and link the part number for it, and then brackets and hardware to go with it. So if you guys buy this kit, you can go ahead and replace your bushing really easily if you ever happen to break it or down the line you just want a new one. So I like it. This is also a design that if the bushing were to break, it would just fall and get caught by the upper bracket here. So your bush or your differential doesn't have the opportunity to start leaning down on your subframe bushings, because that's what would happen if this bushing were to break in a regular car. So a couple pros to this design. Obviously, I like it. That's why I did it this way. I spent a little bit of time really kind of understanding what needed to go into this to make it good. The bushing is actually loaded in the correct orientation. I've seen a couple people use this bushing, but it's being pulled apart instead of compressed, and this needs to be a compressed bushing just because of the way that this is designed. So I'm super happy with this. We're gonna go ahead and throw this in the car. So this is gonna be an installation video for you guys if you need. I'm going to offer two versions of this kit, one that comes with a bushing and one that comes without. And the simple fact is that because this is an off-the-shelf bushing, it is going to be more expensive for me to buy an off-the-shelf part and then send it to you than it would be to just buy it yourself. So I'm going to have two versions of this, one with and one without. So if you really want to get it all in one place, you can. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be cheaper to just buy the brackets and hardware and then buy the bushing yourself. You can find them pretty much anywhere. They're on Amazon. Energy Suspension, I think, sells them directly, and about 1,000 resellers will sell the same bushing. So if you guys are on a budget, or if you just are money conscious, just get the brackets and find the bushing somewhere else. I don't mind. You don't have to buy the full kit from me. I don't care. So we're gonna go ahead and install this in the car. We might need to modify the actual ears on this energy suspension bushing. So we're gonna be double checking that in the car. This is my first install to make sure everything lines up. Everything's looking really good, but we just might need a little bit of clearance for those bolts. So once we get this in the car, we will see. The first thing we're gonna go ahead and do, obviously, is get the car up in the air and remove the old bushing. But when installing this, we're gonna go ahead and install the piece that goes on the diff itself and the bushing, because those hardwares are a little bit difficult to get to. So we're gonna go ahead and get those on first, and then we'll get the piece that goes onto the car and then slips over the rest of the bushing in second. I'll show you the whole process, but it should work out fine. It's just all the hardware clearances, trying to get everything up in there. So I'm super excited for this, guys. It looks really good. It's powder coated. It looks awesome. And I'm super happy with how it came out. So let's go ahead and get it in the car. All right, guys, before we start working on the differential bushing, we're gonna go ahead and get the new one partially ready to go in. So we need to kind of assemble it in two places, or in two pieces, because it is a little bit complicated to get in. So we're gonna go ahead and grab the thicker bracket that is the one that attaches to the differential, and we're going to attach the diff bushing to it, the new diff bushing. You do have to cut the ears off, as you can see. So this is what a standard one would look like, full ears on this. We're gonna go ahead and just find kind of where the arc stops and go up from there. It is the least amount of material, and as you can see, as long as there's a little bit of the black bracket behind this, it's good to go. So we'll cut that off. I'll offer that as a service. If you guys want to go ahead and buy the bushing from me, I'll go ahead and cut that as well. Just in case you don't have tools, really. You're gonna save money, obviously, if you have your own tools. But we're gonna go ahead and put the hardware through here now. There's a screw and a nut. The screw is unfortunately a hex drive because we needed the low profile. And it's 3/16 is the drive size, and then the nut is a 9/16. So I would have chosen metric if I could, guys, trust me. But that is the hardware we're using for this because it is an energy suspension bushing and it is an American style bushing. So everything's looking pretty good on here. Let's go ahead and get the car jacked up now. Let's look at the jack up points because it does actually need to be pretty specific in order to be able to modulate the differential around enough. So let's go ahead and jump over there and look at it. All right, guys, hopefully you are able to see this, but there is the subframe right there. And this is the mount for the subframe. And then this is almost like a cup kind of brace bracket that is also going to the main unibody. This is where I have my jack stands. you know, my frame rails are just kind of a little crusty, so I don't really trust them to hold this up. This is a place that I like to jack it up. I do also like to use the actual subframe itself right there. But like I was saying, we can't actually jack onto that right now. So this is a good place. It's always good to have 3 points. So we have one over there, one right here, and then the third one is actually on the diff. Well, technically mine's on the subframe. But if you're doing this, because I kind of did mine a bit backwards, you can go ahead and actually just attach it to the bottom of the diff right here. So if you want to go ahead and put it right there, that would work just fine as well. But because I got mine down there, it's actually articulating this whole this whole thing because the diff is bolted to the subframe. So I know that's a lot of words to say, but here we go. We have the mount removed. Let's go ahead and install the new one. Alright guys, so I want to go ahead and show you the rear diff bushing as you would see in your car, just on the ground here because it is going to be a little bit easier for me to film and talk at the same time. So what we have is a 14mm bolt going through this top bolt here. We have a 17mm nut that comes onto a stud on the same portion right here. And then on one side you're going to have two 19mm nuts. They both have, or one of them has the washer, and then you'll put a nut on. You'll have this ground strap and then another nut on top. This ground strap is only on one side, so the other side you won't have the second nut and the ground strap, but everything else is mirrored the same. So everything here should have plenty of ability to get to. There shouldn't be any clearance issues basically. There is a heat shield that runs behind this in between the gas tanking right here. That can be removed really easily with two 10mm nuts, or sorry, bolts. That one comes right down. It's actually where this other end right here attaches to. So this pretty much goes from the differential right up to the heat shield, just kind of like that. Alright guys, so here we are under the car, and I apologize because I actually already put it in because I was taking it on and off, just trying to test fit and figure out the best way to actually get this in here. But it's actually super simple, and I'm seriously going to be surprised if you guys have an issue with this because it was so much more simple than even taking the OEM mount off. Basically what we're going to go ahead and do is first you're going to want to install this nut up here on either side, almost all the way down. Basically the bracket that goes here is slotted so you can slide it back. So we're going to go ahead and install it first because this bracket that goes on the diff is a little bit too wide to get that flange over there. So we're going to install those nuts, and then we're going to install this piece that we already previously got together. You're just going to put these nuts on here. These guys get torqued to 80 foot-pounds. You can pull that out of the FSM. It's, you know, plus or minus 5 of that. So 80 is a good number to go to. Once this guy is on here and torqued down, and you can torque this at any point. There's plenty of clearance, so don't worry about that. We're going to go ahead and take this other bracket and slide it up and behind. If you're having difficulty because of this bracket right here, just lower the diff a little bit. Get this in here, and then as you go ahead and get the bracket, make sure it's going underneath these nuts, and if you need to, raise the diff up a little bit so you can get it kind of up and underneath instead of getting caught on that top lip. Once that's up and underneath, you can go ahead and kind of just loosely fit these so that that bracket doesn't fall, and then hold it forward while you go ahead and get these other guys here. I believe those are getting torqued to 40, but I'll double check and put that on the screen if I got it wrong. So super straightforward. Actually, I think those ones, I think it's 25, 50, and then 80. And then again, I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong. I'll call this one the bolt, I'll call this one the nut, and I'll call this one the diff nut, just in case. So everything here is looking really, really good. Everything is so accessible, guys. I mean, if you don't have the previous mount, the past power mount with the big old square tube cage, you might not know just how difficult it was to get in there, but I think I spent literally almost an hour trying to get just that mount off, and I installed this in about 5 minutes. So super, super happy with this design, guys. It looks really good, and everything is working really, really well. So these guys right here, you're going to go ahead and torque these to 40 foot-pounds just to get them in there. But they have lock washers, so don't worry about any of this. Everything is looking really, really good. Guys, if you have any questions, definitely drop a comment down below. If you buy this and you're having any issues, you can either hit me up on Facebook. I'm Joshua Crapo, or I'm in a lot of the Z groups, or you can send me an email at the Z Garage. You can go to the contact tab and you can find a form there to fill out, or you can send it to my email directly. Either way, guys, this should be a really, really simple install. So, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, right up here, there, and there is this heat shield right here. That's where the grounding piece goes from there to up there. So you can go ahead and install that once you're done. Get it out of the way just so you know you have a little bit extra room. But super, super simple. You guys should honestly be able to do this in like half an hour. It should be really simple. The biggest thing for me was finding the right sizes to fit all this. So if you have a 17, or sorry, these are 18s, those are 17s, and those are 14s, you should be good to go. And then these I think are 5/8, and then I talked about that's a 9/16 and a 3/16. So couple weird sizes. As long as you have all the tools on hand, this should be a super straightforward process. So as always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully you guys find this as good and useful as I did, because I love this mount. I'm absolutely in love with it. So I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a great week.